Book 6, Menstrual Periods. Narrated Al-Qasim. Aisha said, we set out with the sole intention of performing Hajj, and when we reached Sarif, a place 6 miles from Mecca, I got my menses. Allah's apostle came to me while I was weeping. He said, what is the matter with you? Have you got your menses? I replied, yes. He said, this is a thing which Allah has ordained for the daughters of Adam. So do what all the pilgrims do with the exception of the tawaf, circumambulation, round the Kaaba. Aisha added, Allah's apostle sacrificed cows on behalf of his wives. Narrated Aisha, while in menses, I used to comb the hair of Allah's apostle. Narrated Urwa, a person asked me, can a woman in menses serve me? And can a Janab woman come close to me? I replied, all this is easy for me. All of them can serve me, and there is no harm for any other person to do the same. Aisha told me that she used to comb the hair of Allah's apostle while she was in her menses, and he was in itikaf, in the mosque. He would bring his head near her in her room and she would comb his hair, while she used to be in her menses. Narrated Aisha, the Prophet used to lean on my lap and recite Quran while I was in menses. Narrated Salama, while I was laying with the Prophet under a single woolen sheet, I got the menses. I slipped away and put on the clothes for menses. He said, have you got nifas, menses? I replied, yes. He then called me and made me lie with him under the same sheet. Narrated Aisha, the Prophet and I used to take a bath from a single pot while we were Janab. During the menses, he used to order me to put on an izar, dress worn below the waist, and used to fondle me. While in itikaf, he used to bring his head near me and I would wash it while I used to be in my periods, menses. Narrated Abdurrahman bin al-Aswad, on the authority of his father, Aisha said, whenever Allah's apostle wanted to fondle any one of us during her periods, menses, he used to order her to put on an izar and start fondling her. Aisha added, none of you could control his sexual desires as the Prophet could. Narrated Maimuna, whenever Allah's apostle wanted to fondle any of his wives during the periods, menses, he used to ask her to wear an izar. Narrated Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, once Allah's apostle went out to the Musalla, to offer the prayer, Eid al-Adha or al-Fitr prayer. Then he passed by the women and said, O women, give alms, as I have seen that the majority of the dwellers of hellfire were you, women. They asked, why is it so, O Allah's apostle? He replied, you curse frequently and are ungrateful to your husbands. I have not seen anyone more deficient in intelligence and religion than you. A cautious sensible man could be led astray by some of you. The women asked, O Allah's apostle, what is deficient in our intelligence and religion? He said, is not the evidence of 2 women equal to the witness of 1 man? They replied in the affirmative. He said, this is the deficiency in her intelligence. Isn't it true that a woman can neither pray nor fast during her menses? The women replied in the affirmative. He said, this is the deficiency in her religion. Narrated Aisha, we set out with the Prophet for Hajj, and when we reached Sarif I got my menses. When the Prophet came to me, I was weeping. He asked, why are you weeping? I said, I wish if I had not performed Hajj this year. He asked, maybe that you got your menses? I replied, yes. He then said, this is the thing which Allah has ordained for all the daughters of Adam. So do what all the pilgrims do except that you do not perform the tawaf round the Kaaba till you are clean. Narrated Aisha, Fatima bint Abi Hubaysh said to Allah's apostle, O Allah's apostle, I do not become clean from bleeding. Shall I give up my prayers? Allah's apostle replied, no, because it is from a blood vessel and not the menses. So when the real menses begins, give up your prayers, and when the period, has finished, wash the blood off your body, take a bath, and offer your prayers. Narrated Isma bint Abi Bakr, a woman asked Allah's apostle, O Allah's apostle, what should we do if the blood of menses falls on our clothes? Allah's apostle replied, if the blood of menses falls on the garment of any one of you, she must take hold of the blood spot, rub it, and wash it with water and then pray with it. Narrated Aisha, whenever any one of us got her menses, she On becoming clean, used to take hold of the blood spot and rub the blood off her garment, and pour water over it and wash that portion thoroughly and sprinkle water over the rest of the garment. After that she would pray in, with it. Narrated Aisha, once one of the wives of the Prophet did itikaf along with him and she was getting bleeding in between her periods. She used to see the blood, from her private parts, and she would perhaps put a dish under her for the blood. The sub-narrator Ikrimah added, Aisha once saw the liquid of safflower and said, "It looks like what so-and-so used to have." Narrated Aisha, one of the wives of Allah's Apostle joined him in itikaf and she noticed blood and yellowish discharge from her private parts, and put a dish under her when she prayed. Narrated Aisha, one of the mothers of the faithful believers, that is the wives of the Prophet, did itikaf while she was having bleeding in between her periods. Narrated Aisha, none of us had more than a single garment and we used to have our menses while wearing it. Whenever it got soiled with blood of menses we used to apply saliva to the blood spot and rub off the blood with our nails. Narrated Amatiya, we were forbidden to mourn for a dead person for more than 3 days except in the case of a husband for whom mourning was allowed for 4 months and 10 days. During that time, we were not allowed to put antimony eye powder in our eyes or to use perfumes or to put on colored clothes except a dress made of asp, a kind of Yemen cloth, very coarse and rough. We were allowed very light perfumes at the time of taking a bath after menses and also we were forbidden to go with the funeral procession. Narrated Aisha, a woman asked the Prophet about the bath which is take after finishing from the menses. The Prophet told her what to do and said, "Purify yourself with a piece of cloth scented with musk." The woman asked, "How shall I purify myself with it?" He said, "Subhanallah. Purify yourself with it." I pulled her to myself and said, "Rub the place soiled with blood with it." Narrated Aisha, an Ansari woman asked the Prophet how to take a bath after finishing from the menses. He replied, "Take a piece of cloth perfumed with musk and clean the private parts with it thrice." The Prophet felt shy and turned his face. So pulled her to me and told her what the Prophet meant. Narrated Aisha, in the last Hajj of Allah's Apostle I assumed the ihram for Hajj along with Allah's Apostle. I was one of those who intended to perform Hajj and Umrah, and did not take the hadi, animal for sacrifice, with me. I got my menses and was not clean till the night of Arafah. I said, "O Allah's Apostle, it is the night of the day of Arafat and I intended to perform the Hajj with Umrah." Allah's Apostle told me to undo my hair and comb it and to postpone the Umrah. I did the same and completed the Hajj. On the night of Al-Hasbah, that is place outside Mecca where the pilgrims go after finishing all the ceremonies Hajj at Mina, the Prophet ordered Abdurrahman, Aisha's brother, to take me to At-Tanim to assume the ihram for Umrah in lieu of that of Hajj at Tamattu which I had intended to perform. Narrated Aisha, on the 1st of Dhul-Hijjah we set out with the intention of performing Hajj. Allah's Apostle said, "Anyone who likes to assume the ihram for Umrah he can do so." Had I not brought the hadi with me, I would have assumed the ihram for Umrah. Some of us assumed the ihram for Umrah while the others assumed the ihram for Hajj. I was one of those who assumed the ihram for Umrah. I got menses and kept on menstruating until the day of Arafat and complained of that to the Prophet. He told me to postpone my Umrah, undo and comb my hair, and to assure the ihram of Hajj and I did so. On the rite of Hasbah, he sent my brother Abdurrahman bin Abi Bakr with me to At-Taim, where I assumed the ihram for Umrah in lieu of the previous one. Hisham said, for that Umrah, no hadi, fasting or alms were required. Narrated Anas bin Malik, the Prophet said, "At every womb Allah appoints an angel who says, O Lord. A drop of semen, O Lord. A clot, O Lord. A little lump of flesh." Then if Allah wishes to complete its creation, the angel asks, "O Lord, will it be a male or female, a wretched or a blessed? And how much will his provision be? And what will his age be?" So all that is written while the child is still in the mother's womb. Narrated Aisha said, "We set out with the Prophet in his last Hajj. Some of us intended to perform Umrah while others Hajj. When we reached Mecca, Allah's Apostle said, those who had assumed the ihram for Umrah and had not brought the Hadi should finish his ihram, and whoever had assumed the ihram for Umrah and brought the Hadi should not finish the ihram till he has slaughtered his Hadi, and whoever had assumed the ihram for Hajj should complete his Hajj. Aisha further said, I got my periods, menses, and kept on menstruating till the day of Arafat, and I had assumed the ihram for Umrah only. Damatu. The Prophet ordered me to undo and comb my head hair and assume the ihram for Hajj only and leave the Umrah. I did the same till I completed the Hajj. Then the Prophet sent Abdurrahman bin Abi Bakr with me and ordered me to perform Umrah from At-Tanam in lieu of the missed Umrah. Narrated Aisha, Fatima bint Abi Hubaysh used to have bleeding in between the periods, so she asked the Prophet about it. He replied, the bleeding is from a blood vessel and not the menses. So give up the prayers when their real menses begin, and when it has finished, take a bath and start praying. Narrated Mu'adh, a woman asked Aisha, should I offer the prayers that which I did not offer because of menses? Aisha said, are you from the Harura, a town in Iraq? We were with the Prophet and used to get our periods, but he never ordered us to offer them. The prayers missed during menses. Aisha perhaps said, we did not offer them. Narrated Zainab bint Abi Salama, Salama said, I got my menses while I was lying with the Prophet under a woolen sheet. So I slipped away, took the clothes for menses and put them on. Allah's Apostle said, have you got your menses? I replied, yes. Then he called me and took me with him under the woolen sheet. Salama further said, the Prophet used to kiss me while he was fasting. The Prophet and I used to take the bath of Janaba from a single pot. Narrated Salama, while I was lying with the Prophet under a woolen sheet, I got my menses. I slipped away and put on the clothes for menses. The Prophet said, have you got your menses? I replied, yes. He called me and I slept with him under the woolen sheet. Narrated Ayub, Hafsa said, we used to forbid our young women to go out for the two Eid prayers. A woman came and stayed at the palace of Bani Khalaf, and she narrated about her sister whose husband took part in 12 holy battles along with the Prophet, and her sister was with her husband in 6 out of these 12. She, the woman's sister, said, we used to treat the wounded, look after the patients, and once I asked the Prophet, is there any harm for any of us to stay at home if she doesn't have a veil? He said, she should cover herself with the veil of her companion and should participate in the good deeds and in the religious gathering of the Muslims. When Amatiyya came, I asked her whether she had heard it from the Prophet. She replied, yes. May my father be sacrificed for him. The Prophet. Whenever she mentioned the Prophet, she used to say, may my father be sacrificed for him. I have heard the Prophet saying, the unmarried young virgins and the mature girl who stay often screened, or the young unmarried virgins who often stay screened, and the menstruating women should come out and participate in the good deeds as well as the religious gathering of the faithful believers, but the menstruating women should keep away from the musalla, praying place. Hafsa asked Amatiyya surprisingly, do you say the menstruating women? She replied, doesn't a menstruating woman attend Arafat, Hajj, and such other deeds? Narrated Aisha, Fatima bint Abi Hubaysh asked the Prophet, I got persistent bleeding, in between the periods, and do not become clean. Shall I give up prayers? He replied, no, this is from a blood vessel. Give up the prayers only for the days on which you usually get the menses, and then take a bath and offer your prayers. Narrated Amatiyya, we never considered yellowish discharge as a thing of importance, as menses. Narrated Aisha, the wife of the Prophet, Habiba got bleeding in between the periods for 7 years. She asked Allah's Apostle about it. He ordered her to take a bath after the termination of actual periods, and added that it was from a blood vessel. So she used to take a bath for every prayer. Narrated Aisha, the wife of the Prophet, I told Allah's Apostle that Safiya bint Huyayy had got her menses. He said, she will probably delay us. Did she perform tawaf, al-ifada, with you? We replied, yes. On that the Prophet told her to depart. Narrated Ibn Abbas, a woman is allowed to leave, go back home, if she gets menses, after Tawaf al-Ifada. Ibn Umar formerly used to say that she should not leave, but later on I heard him saying, she may leave, since Allah's Apostle gave them the permission to leave, after Tawaf al-Ifada. Narrated Aisha, the Prophet said to me, give up the prayer when your menses begin, and when it has finished, wash the blood off your body, take a bath, and start praying. Narrated Samura bin Jundab, the Prophet offered the funeral prayer for the dead body of a woman who died of, during, delivery, that is childbirth, and he stood by the middle of her body. Narrated Maimuna, the wife of the Prophet, during my menses, I never prayed, but used to sit on the mat beside the mosque of Allah's Apostle. He used to offer the prayer on his sheet, and in prostration some of his clothes used to touch me.